the blood got into a bottle, and
Stan Lee
has an issue when he drinks it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and we are doing another movie review for our MCU segment. This is going to be moved to Marvel Mondays, but this episode, obviously it's out today on a Thursday, so it is The Incredible Hulk. It's the next movie in line of our MCU trail, and it's a really interesting movie to talk about for sure. So The Incredible Hulk is the second movie that has come out in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's an interesting movie because it didn't originally tie in to it until you watch the after credit scene, and then there's a tie into Iron Man. But prior to that, it was made as more of an individual film. It is not Disney. This was pre-Disney. This has the Universal logo, and because Universal has owned the rights for the Hulk forever, and this is during that time where Marvel was realizing that they made a mistake back in the day in the early 2000s by distributing all of their characters out to a bunch of different companies, like Sony owning Spider-Man, Fox owning X-Men, Paramount had Iron Man, and obviously Universal has the Hulk. So there was a lot of interesting communication amongst the studios back in the day.
Yeah, that's an interesting fact because I didn't know that all those studios were involvement in the property in terms of the intellectual properties for the certain characters, the IP through the MCU universe.
Yeah, that's one of the struggling parts of the MCU has been is Disney trying to reacquire all of its characters. So that was one of the pushing points when they bought 20th Century Fox, was to get the rights to the X-Men because they couldn't use any of those characters. So it was like, damn, the X-Men are a huge part of Marvel.
Yeah,
and we can't use these characters because we don't own them.
Yeah.
So obviously Marvel itself owns the characters, but the live action rights are not, are a different kind of thing that are owned by different companies. So over the years, and now it seems like pretty much Disney has acquired all that they need. I know they don't necessarily own Namor still, and they don't own Spider-Man. And I believe they don't own the Hulk yet, but there's definitely a partnership in works for a solo Hulk movie at some point. But that's why we haven't seen a solo Hulk movie since this movie has come out, and because Disney can't make a solo Hulk movie.
Right.
So they could have him appear as an Avenger. So yeah, before we get into today's episode about the Incredible Hulk review, I would like to remind everybody, please hit that like and subscribe button down below. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to help us even more so, you can go over to patreon.com/thecalvincam. Join one of our 3 tiers there. It really helps us out. And yeah, so The Incredible Hulk. Let's go initial thoughts.
Initial thoughts from the beginning of the film?
Yeah. Let's start at the beginning.
Well, the beginning of this film was awesome. I thought there's a lot of backstory and story in the first 2 minutes of the credits. Like, it was compelling, actually, in the way it was presented. Mm-hmm. All that information quickly about the experiment with him with Dr. Ross. Mm-hmm. You had the whole thing with that and General Thunderbolt Ross. You have all those things going on, and what happened, and what happened, and the origins of him as a character. Him in the experiment, and then you fast forward to him in Brazil. You get all that, and then you get a counter saying this is the last time, days since the last incident of when that happened. So how he has been containing himself from becoming the Hulk because he doesn't want to be revealed, and he doesn't want to go back to his past, and he doesn't want General Ross to find him.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's a really great recap of the origins of the character, and I like how the movie just jumps kind of right into it because we know the story already. We've known anybody who grew up in the late '80s, early '90s knows the Incredible Hulk TV show with Lou Ferrigno. Hulk has been prevalent for a long period of time, and so it was cool to see us skip right into it. Beyond the origin stories. We had an origin story a few years prior to this movie with a movie called Hulk starring Eric Bana. I don't know if you remember that movie, but
I do not.
But it is a movie.
It's a movie.
It is
okay.
a movie.
If Calvin says it's a movie, it's a movie.
It's like
I know his description.
My little child self appreciated it at the time, and I think that like it has a special place in my heart just because it's like something I grew up with, but at the same time, it's just not it's a movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we got to go right into it. We have Bruce Banner already in Brazil, kind of on the run from the government, and I think that it's a really great way to start off the film, kind of gripping, kind of gets you like in the headspace of, oh, this is kind of like a fast paced kind of like movie. We're in it, like,
yeah, and just being able to relate all the information quickly to get you into the universe, to kind of get you engaged into this film was the presentation of that was good. Mm-hmm. So he's in Brazil, and he's speaking with Mr. Blue, which is this other guy. He's doing the research, trying to find a serum to cure him from his anger and him becoming the Hulk. So you have the whole dynamic with Brazil, and he's basically working in like a Coke factory or like a soda factory or whatever. He's working in there. He's working with Mr. Blue. I see that he's kind of still attached to Betty. He's like has pictures of her. So you see all that stuff. And I like that, he's being secretive. He doesn't want to be revealed. There's that scene where he's fixing the pulley system or the conveyor belt, and he cuts his hand, and we have that nice shot of the blood falling down, which was really cool. It hits there. He has everything stopped, but he missed one thing.
Yeah.
The blood got into a bottle, and
Stan Lee
has an issue when he drinks it. He drops the bottle, and I thought that was really awesome to have a cameo again of Stan Lee, but in a different perspective.
Yeah, that's what's great about these movies too, is we get Stan in so many different roles, and it's great to see. Before we go on into the movie anymore, this cast is insane. Also, I really think that's really great casting for a lot of it. We had Edward Norton. Obviously, he is Bruce Banner. He's not my initial pick for Bruce Banner, but I think that he does a good job. I just think he's too cool to be Bruce Banner. He's not nerdy enough. I feel like Bruce Banner is supposed to be like just really snivelly, like little man. But Edward Norton's cool.
I mean, he's a good actor.
He's awesome. He's an awesome actor.
I mean, American History X, Fight Club, those are my favorite movies of his. I mean, he has several more, but those are the two I mentioned. He's just a good actor, but I kind of feel you on that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just little things. Perfect casting though was General Ross. I think that William Hurt did a fantastic job. I think that he really kind of captured the essence of what that character is all about, because he's just a man without reason. And except for, of course, to his daughter Betty, he has a little soft spot for her, but at the same time, he's still not completely sold on like listening to her, and he's more about like doing what's right for the nation. But
I also thought that he did a really good job in portraying that character. Also, we have Liv Taylor, which did a really good job as Betty Ross.
Yeah, and Liv Tyler is awesome. She's a really great actress.
Yeah, she's from Armageddon, if you remember Armageddon, and then she was in The Lord of the Rings. So
I can never forget Armageddon.
Yeah. So she did a fantastic job as that character.
Another great actor is Tim Roth, who is He plays Blonsky, who is basically the Abomination.
Yeah.
And I think that he is a really interesting antagonist, because I wouldn't necessarily say that he's a villain. He's just kind of a man who's like looking for power.
Yeah, he's looking for power, and I think the little snippet when they do find Hulk in Brazil, and he sees that, it's like,
He's like, how can I
get that power? And he asks General Ross, and he's like, well, after a while, they don't reveal that till like later in the film, but yeah, he's like, he wants that power.
Yeah. And so, of course, that's kind of another story point in this movie is he is acquiring special serums to increase his superhuman abilities. He kind of turns into like a Captain America type. He's a super soldier.
Yeah. And Tim Roth I think it was pretty good casting for him. I think he did a good job. I mean, he's known for really good films like Planet of the Apes and Pulp Fiction. So.
Yeah. Also, a really fun fact in this movie that not a lot of people know, which is funny, but Lou Ferrigno voiced the Incredible Hulk in this movie. So,
yeah, I could see that he did.
So it was really cool to see that. Back into the movie though, it's cool when he first transforms. I wanna talk about that for a second. Like, I think that it's a great reveal of the character because, obviously he's running from Blonsky, he's in the factory, he's the Hulk at this point, and he is completely in the shadows. And then it's not until he like messes up Blonsky and then he reveals his face, like, which I thought was just a really just snarls and then like walks off, and then you don't get to see him transform until he's at the university, I think, where he went to go see Betty. And I think that the character design for the Incredible Hulk is really, really underrated. I'd say I really like this character design. He's very shredded. He's not just bulky and big. He's like in the Avengers movies, you'll see that they go with a different design.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a lot more soft looking. Like, he's muscular, but he looks very much more soft muscle. Like, not to say that he's not strong or anything, but in this movie, he's got like, you see the veins, you see everything. Like, he is cut, this Hulk, and he's got really long hair in this as well.
Yeah. I thought the reveal was good for him in his transformation stage, even though we had it happen 3 times. We had it happen in the factory. We had it when she was at the university, and that's where we really see him shine. Like,
Yeah.
The other university where he finally talks to Mr. Blue, and there's that transformation there as well. Oh, and there's the last one. He jumps out of the plane too. So
Yes.
I think all of those transformations have their they're just well done in terms of portraying how he transforms.
Mhm.
Like you have him transforming on the table, so you get to see him that way. You see him transforming like in the dark in the first part, and then when he's trapped in that skyway, he kind of transforms, and you see him come out of the gas area when they gas him.
Yeah.
And then the really cool one was when he fell out of the plane, he hits the concrete, and his fist just pops out.
Yeah.
So all those transformations in terms of how they portrayed it with the special effects, where they really didn't overdo it, and it was actually really good.
Yeah. So another thing about this movie that I want to talk about is what are some of the things that you didn't necessarily like about this movie?
I did like the origin story, but I kind of think that it goes I think it goes everywhere. It's not like solid like Iron Man is.
Mhm.
I think it just goes all over the place and kind of throws you off a little bit. It's kind of, I think it just doesn't, it's not so grounded, and it's kind of goes off into different directions.
I agree. I agree completely, because I feel like if you didn't know the character, you probably wouldn't. It'd probably be really hard to piece together.
Yeah.
So the average audience probably would be a little confused.
Yeah, and that's where I'd say I'd have a problem with it, because it's not like Iron Man. It's grounded. It shows this is a story about this character, and if it's an individual film about this character, it should have some of that story, and it should be sort of grounded that way. But in this movie, it was just like him just on the run with Betty,
Pretty
just like
much.
the whole time. So that's where I have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm. Trying to suppress the Hulk, but that's how the story goes. A lot of the time in Hulk comics is Bruce just trying to constantly contain the Hulk, constantly running from his transformation. And I think that they do a good job at that, but I also think they could have handled it better.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's like bad per se. It's just there are things that could have been done better. I like the transformations themselves, I should say, like we were saying, but yeah, overall. And then I think that the action in this movie, there's not as much as I'd like. I feel like you only get like those 3 segments with the Hulk.
It's
honestly.
literally the 3 segments. It's like the beginning when he fights him in the factory, the
one at the university,
the one at the university, and then the final battle with A-Bomb. Like that's all you get. And
I feel like it's not as big as it should be. I feel like it should be a lot better. Although I really liked it. I especially like the thunderclap. I thought was awesome. At the end, I thought that was great.
That's when he reveals his key word, Hulk smash.
Yeah, Hulk smash. And
that's the first time he actually
speaks
and
fully
identifies himself as that character by saying Hulk smash. So
yeah.
I thought that was cool.
And there's a couple of other lead ups in this film that I think that still to this day haven't really been fleshed out a whole lot. One being Mr. Blue, Samuel Stearns. He is supposed to be set up to be the leader, which is one of Hulk's main villains. And you see it when the serum drips in his head and his head starts to like morph and become a little bit.
Yeah, I noticed that.
The leader, obviously, you've played Marvel Snap. You should know the leader's card. He has like a really tall green head.
Yep.
So he's a Hulk villain. And I think that I would like to see where that goes eventually. We still, spoiler alert for you, I guess, still haven't really touched back on that character yet. So
yeah,
but then again,
I can see why he's a villain though, because Bruce wants to destroy all this serum, and he's like, no, this is a breakthrough. So he's just like, screw you, I'm gonna do something with this, and apparently it leads into that. There's other things about this movie that are cool in terms of portrayal. Bruce Banner's flashbacks, like there's the one that I really like when he was having a flashback when he's in the shower and the shower head becomes the end of a minigun.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool.
There's
also
PTSD.
Yeah, he has that. So that flashback was cool. The one where he's coming to the university is cool, but I thought the one in the shower was the best.
Yeah, I think so. I'd agree with that. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for this episode. Let's do our final review for it. What would you give this movie?
This movie isn't as solid as Iron Man. This movie probably gets like a 4 for me. I mean, it's a good movie.
It's good.
It's just not grounded like the story was in the presentation of Iron Man. Iron Man was just an all around awesome movie. So like I said, the reveal for him, the special effects were done well in this movie, and his transformation. Story, like I said, is all over, kind of just hard to follow. The music is good when it comes in for reveals and those purposes. And overall, this movie isn't as good as that previous movie of Iron Man in the MCU. I would say it's a 4 out of 5 for me. It's still a good movie and it's worth the watch.
Okay. I would give this movie a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
For all the points and purposes that you said as well, it definitely could have been executed a lot better. I think that it has really great moments, but overall, it's not the best of stories like told, especially for this character. I think that just Bruce on the run is kind of boring. It makes sense as a comic reader. I like understand, but I'm also like, I don't know. This isn't exactly what I wanted to see from the character. Positives, obviously, I love the Hulk design, and I think that goes a far away for me. And I think that I wish they would have stuck with a design more like this. But I ultimately was disappointed with a lot of the things that happened, especially not enough scenes with the Hulk. So, and I still have that problem to this day with movies where the Hulk is in.
Yeah,
So,
I get that, and also I get that as well. I thought that, like I said, Edward Norton did a good job, but I'm glad that they replaced him with Mark Ruffalo. I think he's just fit more for the role.
I think that he's a great replacement. So, yeah, I'd give it 3.5. All right, so that's it for our review. Now let's do some trivia.
I've got some more Marvel trivia for Calvin.
Yeah, let's go.
I've got some. I don't know if I'll stump him like I did last episode, but we are going to go down the list here and start where I left off on the previous episode. All right, we have number 1 for this episode. In Thor Ragnarok, who cameoed as the Asgardian actor portraying Thor in Loki's party?
Isn't it his brother? It's a Hemsworth.
Yep, Luke Hemsworth.
Yeah.
You are correct, Calvin.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Whose powers exceed that of the Sorcerer Supreme?
That's pretty vague, I feel.
But
I know
who
that
the Sorcerer Supreme is Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. I know that.
Who exceeds the powers of the Sorcerer Supreme?
Who exceeds the powers? See, that's where it's like it feels tricky, but
It's kind of a trick question.
who exceeds the powers of the Sorcerer Supreme? I'm gonna say Scarlet Witch.
Yep, you're right. It's
Yeah.
Wanda, the Scarlet
Yeah.
Witch. All right. Okay. In Avengers Endgame, which Infinity Stone does Natasha sacrifice herself for?
The Soul Stone.
You are correct. He knew that one right off the bat.
Or no, is it the Soul Stone?
Yeah, it is the Soul
is
Stone. You were correct. All right, here we go. On to the next couple here. What does Stan Lee cameo as in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? What does he cameo as?
In Volume 2, he cameos at, I don't know who he cameos as, but he's a guy in a car. Does he actually have a?
Yeah, he has a cameo.
Is he
He's
cameo as himself?
No.
No, who's he cameo as? I don't know.
Think about it. You don't know?
I don't know.
An astronaut.
Oh shit.
I got him with one.
Oh yeah, he's an astronaut and he's telling the Watchers. Yeah. I got that.
So I got him with one.
Damn.
I didn't. I thought for sure he was gonna know.
Thinking a different movie, honestly.
Yeah, I thought for sure he was gonna know. In Hawkeye, what does Yelena cook for Kate when she breaks into her parents' apartment?
I don't know.
You don't know, really?
I honestly, I don't know.
Your attention to detail.
I've seen the show one time. I do not know.
Macaroni and cheese.
All right. So I figured it was some kind of like microwavable
Microwavable dish.
dish of sorts. So
In Avengers Endgame, what food does Scott Lang try to eat when he's blown out of his head?
tacos.
A taco. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You knew that one right away.
Yeah. It's funny.
Who makes their MCU debut in Thor Ragnarok in 2017?
Their MCU debut in Thor Ragnarok. Valkyrie?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You were correct. All right.
That could have been a couple.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we'll give you two more. In Captain America Civil War, what dish does Wanda help Vision make?
In Captain America Civil War?
Yeah.
I never know the food ones. I don't know.
Paprika kush?
Oh.
I think I pronounced that right. It is paprika, but it says paprika ash. So
Okay.
I'll have to find out what dish that is because I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't even remember. Like, I remember that part. I just don't remember what they were eating.
All right. Last question for Calvin on this edition for trivia. Who cut off Thanos' head?
Thor.
Yep. You are correct, sir.
Yep.
He got that one pretty quickly too.
He went for the head.
Yeah.
So
I did manage to get him on a couple, but yeah. That is it for trivia, and we'll be testing his might on the next segment.
all right. Have a good night, everyone. See you next time.
Take care and have a great night, guys.
Thank you all so much for tuning into the Calvin Cam podcast. We appreciate you all so very, very much. And, if you like us, hit that like and subscribe button down below. It really helps us out, as well as you can go over to our social media platforms like Instagram or X and follow us over there. We like to communicate and build our community up, as well as you could also go to patreon.com/thecalvincam and join one of our 3 tiers that we offer. We offer a couple of different benefits per tier, and it's good stuff, and it would really, really help us, and we'd really appreciate it, of course. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you later.